So the Panama Papers is maybe just the tip of the iceberg.
Thierry, currently there are global initiatives to make businesses, companies and the like more transparent by making them disclose their ultimate owners or beneficiaries. Why has this come about and is it necessary?
Yeah, so for decades or maybe even centuries, people have been using companies to hide assets, to hide income, to hide their identity, sometimes for privacy reasons, but in many cases also to hide assets and income from the tax authorities. Now this has resulted now in a public outcry about people using these companies, and governments are responding to the public outcry, and governments are also in need of money. So it's an easy target, a popular target, to go after people who have been hiding money from them.
Recently, the Panama Papers have been a huge issue with, prime ministers to celebrities being involved in the scandal. With this, how big of a scandal has this been, and could it have been prevented?
Yeah, so the Panama Papers is maybe just the tip of the iceberg. It's not just Panama, but it's one law firm in Panama. And you can imagine that the actual magnitude of the problem is much, much bigger. It's a big multiple of what we have seen so far. So we will see initiatives being launched against this, based on the public outcry, for instance. And I think it's necessary to react to this, to respond to this. We need to, from a fiscal perspective, we need to be living in a world where people cannot just move money and assets into a company somewhere in a funny island or a small state and hiding it from their tax authorities.
Yeah, and one person that's been really fighting for business transparency is the United Kingdom Prime Minister David Cameron. And in London, they actually recently had the first International Anti-Corruption Summit. In regards to, business transparency, was this a good step in the right direction, or do we still have, quite a while to go yet?
I guess in terms of the anti-corruption initiatives, it's a good and great step in the right direction, but there's still a long way to go. When it comes to taxation and tax transparency, a lot of steps have already been made and are on its way being implemented. So I think on the tax front, we have come a long way already, and we're going to live shortly in a tax transparent world. On the corruption side, I think more work needs to be done still.
Speaking of corruption, is it kind of a conflict of interest for the for the Prime Minister David Cameron to be, advocating for business transparency when it actually turns out that he was profiting from his father's Panama offshore trust, despite originally denying that he was?
Yeah, correct. So there is this conflict of interest, but I think since he's doing the right thing, he's strongly advocating transparency and actually very fast implementing initiatives for more transparency. I think that he is properly dealing with this conflict of interest. He's not acting in his own interest, he's clearly acting in the public interest in this respect.
Okay, but for the moment you think that we are heading in the right direction to get more transparency in, on a global scale?
Yeah, we are heading we are on a fast-track train towards transparency, which is needed, which is what the people want, and it's coming really fast now. So people who have hidden assets need to come clean and need to turn themselves in before they appear in the newspapers or before the taxman knocks at their doors.
Well, it will definitely be interesting to see what happens from here, but thank you so much for coming, and it's a pleasure to have you as always.
Thank you, Celeste.
That's all from myself and Thierry. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep clicking back to Dukascopy TV.